All right, so welcome to another deep dive.
Sounds good.
This one you guys sent in, and I am excited to dive into this one.
Yeah.
This is Fractegrity.
Mm,
It's from a book called The Declaration of Interdependence by Terry Sanders and Chad Steele.
Interesting.
And basically, the idea is
Yeah.
that integrity is like a fractal pattern.
Mhm.
It works the same way on a personal level,
Yeah.
and then how it scales up to like society as a whole.
Wow.
And I thought that was pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's a really cool concept.
Yeah.
And it really does make you think about, like Sanders and Steele use the analogy of a mosaic.
Right.
Each little tile has to be strong in order for the whole picture to hold up.
Right.
And so they're saying that fractegrity is like, individual integrity is like those tiles.
Yeah.
It's essential for a strong and vibrant society.
Okay, so we're saying that individual integrity is like the foundation for
Right.
a collective kind of integrity?
Exactly.
This bigger picture. Yeah.
Fractegrity. But how do they actually define it?
Well, they have this kind of interesting equation that they use.
Okay.
They say that fractegrity equals the collective divided by the individual.
Okay.
So basically the idea is that as the experience of the collective increases and the experience of the individual decreases,
Okay.
then fractegrity increases.
It's about prioritizing the needs of the group over individual desires.
Yeah, in a way it is, but
Does that always work out in real life?
that's a great question. And I think that the book acknowledges that there's a balance to be struck.
Yeah.
It's not about sacrificing individual needs,
Right.
but it's about understanding that our actions as individuals have ripple effects
Yeah.
that impact the whole system.
Okay. So I see how this connects to the idea of interconnectedness.
Yeah,
Like what we do as individuals matters
exactly.
because it ripples outward.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, and they use this example of a building.
Like if you use shoddy materials, the whole structure is compromised,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how brilliant the architect's plan was.
Right.
So they're saying that individual integrity or the lack of it
Right.
is like the building materials
Yeah.
for society.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that time I was trying to build a bookshelf,
Oh.
and I totally cheaped out on the screws,
Oh.
and the whole thing collapsed under the weight of all my books. Clearly a lesson in fractegrity
You learned it the hard way.
the hard way.
But it's so funny how, like, these everyday experiences
Yeah.
can sometimes illustrate these
can.
big concepts.
Yeah.
But what's really fascinating about the book is how it links fractegrity
Yeah.
to personal growth.
Okay.
So they argue that cultivating qualities like compassion and understanding our interconnectedness
Right.
actually strengthens not just ourselves, but also society as a whole.
So it's like our inner integrity becomes a building block for something much bigger.
That's a great way to put it.
Wow.
It's not just about following the rules
Yeah.
or avoiding doing bad things.
Right.
It's about really developing our inner compass,
Mm-hmm.
that sense of wholeness that guides our actions, even when no one's watching.
That makes me think about like all the different groups that I'm a part of.
Yeah.
My family, my
Right.
work,
Absolutely.
my community.
Mhm.
If fractegrity is real,
Yeah.
then how I act in those spaces,
Right.
my own integrity or lack of it
For sure.
has to be impacting those systems, right?
Totally.
It's a little daunting when you think about it that way.
It is a big concept.
Yeah.
And the book goes on to explore how integrity manifests differently
Okay.
in man-made structures versus the natural world,
Okay.
but that the underlying principle is the same.
So like for a building, it's about a
Yeah.
solid foundation.
Right.
Good plans,
Yeah.
quality materials.
Exactly. And then they contrast that with the natural world.
Okay.
And they use the example of a tree's deep roots,
Okay.
which help it to withstand storms.
Mhm.
And so those roots are a natural form of integrity,
Interesting.
representing resilience.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
So strong roots are
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
integrity in nature.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you wonder, like, what are our roots as individuals?
That is the question.
What are those core principles that give us strength
Right.
and help us to weather the storms in our own
It's
lives?
a great question to consider.
What are those values or beliefs that help us stay grounded and make those ethical choices even when faced with challenges?
Yeah. What helps us get through those tough times?
And how do those personal roots then contribute to the overall fractegrity
Right.
of the systems we're a part of?
Exactly.
I feel like we've only just scratched the surface here.
Yeah.
There's so much more to unpack.
For sure there is.
Yeah.
And that's what we'll be diving into next.
Okay. Sounds good.